Okay, so you know how sometimes you just feel stuck? Like you want to get in shape, but you're totally overwhelmed by all the fitness advice out there. It's like, where do you even start? Well, today we're diving into that exact feeling.
Yeah, we've got a whole stack of your questions and stories about feeling lost with fitness, like no gym membership, not much equipment, and maybe you haven't exercised in a while. It can be super intimidating.
Totally. And everyone's promising these crazy results, but they're using all this jargon and equipment you've never even heard of.
Right, it's like they're speaking another language. So for this deep dive, we wanted to find a routine that cuts through all that noise, something that anyone can start with, uses basic equipment, and actually gets you results.
And that's what's so cool about the plan we found. It's not just about getting moving. It's about building real strength and fitness, step by step, so you can actually stick with it.
Exactly. We're looking at a 12-week program, and the crazy part is it only uses 4 exercises.
4. That's it. I feel like I need a whole gym full of machines just to know where to start.
I know, right? But that's the beauty of this. It's all about focusing on the fundamentals and really mastering them.
So where did this super simple routine come from? It feels like most programs are designed for people who already live at the gym.
Well, it's kind of a cool origin story. This routine was originally created for someone who is in that exact situation, no gym, limited equipment, and just feeling lost. They basically said, hey, what's the simplest, most effective workout I can do with what I have?
I love that. It's like back to basics, but in a really smart way.
Yeah. And the creators of this routine took that challenge seriously. They wanted to figure out how much progress someone could make, even with those limitations. Minimal equipment, no fancy gym, just a solid plan and some dedication.
It's inspiring, actually. It proves that you don't need all the bells and whistles to get fit.
Totally. And the hope is that by seeing those early wins, those first signs of progress, people will be more likely to stick with it and maybe even get interested in more advanced training down the line.
Okay, so we've got to talk about the elephant in the room here. They're using weights, right? An Olympic bar. Most beginner routines I've seen start with just body weight stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And the document we're looking at addresses that directly. They considered a pure body weight approach, but they felt that for building serious strength, a lot of those body weight exercises require a certain level of fitness to even start.
Like you have to be able to do a pull-up before you can even start training to do a pull-up.
Exactly. And they also felt that using weights, even just a few basic movements, would lead to faster and more measurable progress.
That makes sense. You can really control the challenge by adding a little weight each week.
Precisely. So you're probably wondering, how much equipment are we actually talking about here?
Yeah, spill the beans. What's on the shopping list?
Okay, drum roll. For the strength training part, you really only need 2 things. An Olympic bar and some weight plates.
That's it. Wow. I'm guessing they recommend some specific brand or something, right?
They do mention a company called Bigger, Faster, Stronger, specifically their training plates and Olympic bars.
Ah, okay. Makes sense.
But they also totally get that cost can be a barrier, especially if you're just starting out.
Yeah, and shipping those weights can get expensive.
For sure. So they actually suggest checking out local sporting goods stores or even online marketplaces for a basic Olympic bar and some standard weight plates. You might not get the fanciest equipment, but it'll do the job.
Smart. So we've got the weights covered,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also a running component to this plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need a treadmill or?
Nope. No treadmills here. They keep it simple.
Huh?
Find a 400-meter course. Ideally, if you have access to a local track, like at a high school or college, that's perfect.
But what if you don't have a track nearby?
No problem. They've got you covered. You can use your car's odometer to measure out a 400-meter distance in your neighborhood.
Like just drive down the street and...
Yeah, it's just a little over 1/10 of a mile. So run to that point and back, and you've got your 400 meters.
That is so smart. They've thought of every excuse not to exercise.
Totally. Okay, so let's get to the heart of it. The 4 exercises. What are we actually doing for 12 weeks?
Yeah, I'm ready to get sweaty.
All right, here's a lineup. Walk, jog, run, the deadlift, the push press, and the squat.
Wait, that's it? It seems almost too simple to be effective.
I know, right? But that's the brilliance of it. These 4 exercises work a ton of different muscles at the same time. They're what are called compound movements.
Compound, what's that mean?
It means they're not just isolating one muscle. They're using multiple muscle groups at once.
So it's like a full body workout in just a few moves.
Exactly. And they're all movements that you actually use in everyday life, picking things up off the ground, lifting things overhead, sitting down and standing up. And then the running, of course, is great for your heart and lungs.
It's like they've taken the most essential human movements and turned them into a workout.
Pretty much. Okay, so let's break down how this is all structured over the 12 weeks. First things first, how much time are we committing to this?
Yeah, because ain't nobody got time for a 3-hour workout every day.
Totally agree. This program is designed for 5 days a week, and each workout is under 30 minutes.
Wow, under 30 minutes, that's actually doable.
Right. It's all about making fitness fit into your life, not the other way around.
Okay, so what happens in those 30 minutes?
Well, the very first week is all about learning the ropes. You're not jumping into heavy weights or anything. It's all about practicing the deadlift, push press, and squat with light weights, focusing on getting the form perfect.
So it's like a foundation week, making sure you're doing everything right before you start pushing it.
Exactly. Then, starting in week 2, you start the full routine. And the rule for choosing your starting weights is simple. Use the heaviest weight you can lift while still keeping perfect form.
Okay, makes sense. But how do you know when it's time to increase the weight?
Great question. They have a built-in progression system. For the deadlift, you're aiming to increase the weight by about 5 pounds every week.
So nice and gradual.
Yeah. For the push press, it's a bit slower, about 5 pounds every other week.
Okay, and what about the running? How does that progress?
For the running, which you do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you add one more 400-meter lap every 2 weeks.
So like the weights, you're slowly increasing the challenge over time?
Exactly. Now, the structure of those running workouts gets interesting. From weeks 3 through 12, you rest for the same amount of time it took you to run the previous lap. So if your lap took 2 minutes, you rest for 2 minutes.
That's a cool way to make sure you're recovering but also pushing yourself.
Yeah. And what's cool is those strength training days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, become timed workouts.
So you're trying to complete the same exercises in less time.
You got it. It's another way to challenge yourself, even if you're not adding more weight.
Makes sense. And for the running, you're also trying to decrease your lap times, right?
Yes. So over the 12 weeks, you're getting stronger, building endurance, and getting faster.
All with just 4 exercises? Pretty amazing.
And we can't forget about rest. Saturday and Sunday are your recovery days.
Ah, yes. The most important part.
Seriously. Your body needs time to repair and rebuild. That's when the magic happens.
So overall, are we talking about going all out, super intense workouts?
Definitely not. They really emphasize starting comfortably and taking it easy, especially in those first few weeks.
That's good. I think a lot of beginners get intimidated by those hardcore programs.
Yeah, this is all about building sustainable habits.
And they even include links to videos and articles about proper form, right?
Yes, absolutely. They cover everything. The deadlift, squat, push press, even running form. They also provide the website for Bigger, Faster, Stronger if you want to check out their equipment.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
Let's recap the key takeaways for our listeners.
So the big picture is this. It's a 12-week program, 5 days a week, under 30 minutes per workout. You only need an Olympic bar and some weight plates, which you can find pretty affordably. You're focusing on just 4 exercises: the deadlift, push press, squat, and walk, jog, run.
And it's all about gradual progress, right?
Exactly. You're slowly increasing the weight, the distance, and the speed over time.
So what's the big aha moment here? What do you want listeners to walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that you don't need a complicated routine or a fancy gym membership to get real results.
Yeah. It's about mastering the fundamentals and being consistent.
Exactly. And the best part is, this approach can be applied to so many other areas of life, not just fitness. Think about learning any new skill. It's all about starting with the basics and gradually building from there.
It's like a life philosophy disguised as a fitness routine.
I like that. So here's a final thought for our listeners. What else in your life could you simplify and approach with this same mindset of gradual progress?
That's a great question to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful.
And inspiring.
Definitely inspiring. Until next time, keep diving.